right, for more on fitness and fitness wearable tech in China, we're joined by tech expert Eric Schiffer. Eric, thanks for joining us. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Michelle.
Eric, there's been an increase in fitness and health awareness and enthusiasm in China. What kind of changes are we seeing in China's fitness industry? And Eric, what is driving them?
Well, we're seeing a dramatic increase in health and fitness in China, very much like what happened in the late and early part of the 80s in the United States. You're seeing almost, I think it's some 5 million people that are serious at exercise. The total number is probably around 16 million, and that's growing like crazy. I mean, there's millions that are joining every year, and I think it's coming in part from the government on one level and westernization of health and fitness and the success that people are having in China.
Well, you mentioned success, and personal disposable income is a big factor. Usually awareness of fitness generally begins when a nation's GDP per capita hits around the $5,000 per level mark. China's GDP per capita reached over $7,500 last year. So, Eric, what does this mean for the fitness market? How big of a market do you see developing in China over the next 5 years?
Well, you're exactly right, Michelle. Typically countries begin to really get into this about $8,000 per year. The market is going to be tremendous. I would expect by the mid 2020s that you're going to see somewhere between 500 billion up to $1 trillion being spent in China. So that means more and better gyms. It means certainly a lot of these smart devices to be able to exercise better. It means a booming personal training industry, and certainly products in the form of protein supplements, health pills, anything that's going to make you healthier and train better.
Right, lots of money to be made there. Eric, let's focus a little bit on the wearable tech fitness market. And Jawbone says that China is its second largest overseas market. Fitbit is trying to make a big push into China. It's not doing so great. Why is that?
It's too expensive. I mean, the reality is when you can have one of the greatest companies in China sell a product for $15, really, why would you want to spend $150 for Fitbit when more than roughly a third begin to throw them away or just not use them? Or you could lose it, as people have said. So to me, it's a waste of money. I think many people in China see that. I think it's going to be very difficult for Jawbone and Fitbit to break in unless they have some killer app, and right now they don't have it.
So it's all about pricing. They need to come lower on the pricing?
Well, it's about value. So if you can get what is one of the most respected companies in China to give you the product for $15, why would you spend 10 times that with Fitbit to get pretty much the same thing? Doesn't make sense.
Well, some reports are saying that Fitbit and Apple could actually be competing for the same Chinese shoppers, that it's the same group of people. Do you see people buying and wearing both a Fitbit and an Apple Watch, or is it one or the other?
Well, I think for people that are getting an Apple Watch, they can get apps that will basically be able to do the same types of things that Fitbit does. Right now, the Apple Watch doesn't have that capability. You can't really monitor your sleep. The battery has a challenge. But over time, that'll become easier and easier. I don't believe that people will have both in the long term. I think ultimately Fitbit will likely become much more of a software-oriented program. They'll probably have to switch more to software and content than the hardware side over the next 3-4 years.
Well, could the Apple Watch, which is counting on big demand from China, then eat into Fitbit's market there? Is that what you're saying, really?
I think what will happen is Apple is certainly going to eke in. You're going to have the other companies that are already selling at a much lower price point take that lower end of the market, and Fitbit's going to struggle. They really are going to have a hard time competing here. I wouldn't invest in China as it relates to Fitbit. If you're planning on China being a big growth portion for them, don't bet on it. It would be a bad move, in my opinion. In fact, I think they're going to get decimated there.
Well, at around 60 times earnings valuation, it seems like they are betting on China. Very quickly, Eric, what is unique about the Chinese fitness market as compared to other markets, particularly in the tech fitness space?
Well, look, you have tremendous numbers. So you've got this mass amount of people, and right now a very small percentage that are actually active in what would be considered Western type of exercise, and certainly the technology side. But let's remember, I mean, fitness really began in China well before the Western side. I mean, with Kung Fu and other types of Tai Chi-oriented moves. So this is just a progression. Younger people like the Western way, and they like technology. So that's really the underpinning. But the foundation, the core about health and fitness has really always been a Chinese thing.
You're absolutely right. As always, good to have you, Eric Schiffer, live from Los Angeles.